It's 2024, and I mean, if you still haven't got some tubeless tyres on your mountain bike, why? People are led to believe that to set up tubeless, you need to have some fancy tools, like an air compressor, a booster pump, or a CO2 canister. But actually, all you need is one of these standard pumps, which is why I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how you can set up tubeless easily. The first thing you want to do is make sure everything is nice and clean, especially if everything isn't brand new, like what I've got today with these rims. You can see that they've got old sealant on and they're quite dirty. So we need to give them a clean to give us the best possible chance of sealing them. If you're reusing the valves, it's really important to clean them. So I take the core out and then poke something through it just to make sure they're nice and clear. Same again on this one, we're going to remove the valve core. And then we can get our pick and just poke through. So like this one, it's quite hard. So by poking that through, we're just cleaning that up and just making sure that nothing's blocked in there. No dirt, no old sealant, just so that when we pump it up, we make sure we get all the air in there that we need. Then we're going to screw our valve core back in. Using the right stuff is also really important. You want to make sure that all of the stuff you're using is tubeless ready. That's just going to make it far easier and make sure that tyre seals. As you can see, my tyres both say tubeless ready on them. The valves I'm using are tubeless ready. As for the sealant, I use muck off. I find it so good, and as it says on the bottle, no hassle. That's what we love, and honestly it does do that. And if you want to get yourself 30% off, use code J30 on the muck off store, and then you can get yourself a bit of a discount. So first of all, we want to make sure we've got the rotation facing the right way towards the front of the bike. A mountain biking must is to always get your valve in the middle of the Maxxis logo. If you're like me and you're struggling to get the tyre on the rim, because like this one it's a downhill casing so it's quite tight, what you can do, especially with these muck off ones are really good, they've got this sort of ridge here. So what we can do is we can sneak it in underneath there, push until it clips on like we see there, and then just lift, and there we go, tyre's on. So tyre's on one side, and then on the other side, so we've got a valve here at the top. I'm just going to then start putting that tyre on, leaving us a gap, an open end at the bottom for us to put the sealant in. Got a muck off sealant, give that a good shake. I'm going to put that in the tyre. Spilt a bit. So we now do the same thing with the other tyre. Start to get that on with the valve at the top there. Start working our way around. Sealant. So we now want to get the tyre on the rim so both sides are on. Having both tubeless tyres and tubeless rims can make it really tight and make it pretty hard to get them on the tyre. But I'm going to show you a way that you can do it to make it far easier. The outside of your rim is where the bead is, and that's your widest part. So what you want to do is get all of the tyre in the middle of the rim, feeding it all the way around, and then what you should find is on the last bit, it should be nice and easy to just pop on. Like this, I'll show you. So we're going to start by making sure it's all in the middle of the rim, all the way around. And then keep on going in the middle. And there we are. Rim's popped on, all by hand. And see, it's easy as that. You don't need to have some crazy bend on the tyre levers. You literally can just make sure it's all in the middle, and then it should pop on nice and easy. So this one's probably going to be a bit harder because the tyre is a downhill casing one. We're still going to put it in the middle, all the way around. And there we're on. Now we've got both tyres on with the sealant inside, we can now start pumping them up. The next tip is when you're pumping up the tyre. So we're going to have the valve at the top, and then we're going to just lift up the wheel slightly at the top just to unweight it at the bottom. And the reason is that if we have the tyre sat on the floor, it's going to be really flat and square, and just make it so much harder for that tyre to pop on the bead. So we're using this our standard pump, no fancy pumps here. Then I'm just going to lift up slightly so it's not sat square at the bottom like that. I'm just going to lift it up and make it start pumping. Try and go as hard as you can. And then once it starts to build up a bit, we can then carry on like normal, wait for the noise. Then what we can do is give them a move around, give them a shake, and let that sealant get round. Same again, we're going to lift it up slightly just to stop it sitting square. Start pumping. This one should be a little bit easier with it being the downhill casing quite tight. So now we can start pumping hard again. Give it a shake. And there we have it. Both of the tyres all set up tubeless. The final tip is we want to make sure that the sealant gets all the way around the tyre to make sure it seals. Now going for a ride is a good way of doing this, but if you're a bit like me and you're not going on a ride straight away, what you can do, put the bike on the bike stand, put these wheels on, spin them all up and let that sealant all mix around. So these tyres are going on my nice muddy e-bike we've got here, out riding yesterday. Rear wheel. We can now put the front wheel on. Tyres looking so cool. Nice fresh tyres, love a new tyre day. And then what we're going to do is just spin all the wheels to make sure that sealant mixes up nicely. If you follow all of those tips, you should find setting up tubeless pretty straightforward. And you don't need any flashy tools, just some hard work and a simple pump and you're all set. Let me know how you get on in the comments, and as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another ride.